Good morning everyone, today we are going to be talking about the Tempesta weapons and if they are worth it or not. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Future Care over here, there is a code that has just been added into the game, so please make sure to type from David. As you can see here, the F is capitalized as well as the D, and it is all one word. You can type it in Alliance chat, party chat, area chat, whatever chat you want. I'll post it in party chat and boom. Once that is done, you're going to press escape. You're going to go to systems and go to get campaign items and go to the account, and you're going to notice right here the NGS for Temp City and Urgent Quest gift, and you will get a Rappy shaped fritters. I think this is just like a 10% rare drop rate booster or something, as well as Rappy kite emote, which is pretty nice. Okay, so the short answer is it depends on your current gear's situation and how you play the game. So what do I mean by that? If you have a relic weapon like myself with a fixa on it already, then it is not necessary to go the Tempesta weapons, simply because your relic weapon is going to out DPS the Tempesta weapon in every single form in every single way. Now, some of you may remember from my previous videos where I was talking about, hey, you could use the Tempesta weapons to get those elemental downs, and that is still true. However, that is heading towards min-max territory. So if you're doing speed runs or you really like to min-max, then yes, you can build a Tempesta weapon just to get those elemental downs and then switch back to your relic weapon for regular DPS. However, keep in mind that this is a little bit tricky because of how the Tempesta Potential works. So how does the Tempesta Potential actually work? As you can see here, after 10 seconds of attacking with the Tempesta weapon, you will do this wind gale attack. It literally looks like a wind slash, and this has a chance to cause the elemental down. However, there is a 20-second cooldown on this ability, so you add that all together and now you have 30 seconds downtime in between each of these wind gale charges or whatever you want to call them. So if you are in that min-max territory, then yes, you pull out your Tempesta weapon after 20 seconds, you attack for 10 seconds, the moment that wind gale thing procs, then you immediately switch back to your relic weapon, and then you just have to have an internal timer in your brain or in like a phone or something to know when to switch back to your Tempesta weapon and when to switch back to your relic weapon, because there is no visual cue or visual timer in your UI. So you constantly have to keep a mental note on when to switch to your Tempesta weapon in order to proc that wind gale. I keep calling it wind gale, but you get the idea. It's basically that the potential wind slash thing that does the elemental down, okay? And keep in mind, the elemental down is not guaranteed. That just gives you a chance of causing an elemental down. So now you understand why I say this is in min-max territory, right? Because, for example, a player like myself, where I just want to go Unga Bunga and Monkey Brain, I don't want to keep mental timers and know when to weapon swap and blah blah blah, because that's too galaxy brain for me. I just want to go in, have a single weapon, maybe a multi-weapon at most, and just beat the crap out of the enemies until they are dead. So for me personally, I will not be building the Tempesta weapons simply because there is no real need for it in my case. However, for my Ship 1 character, this is a totally different story. The reason I say that is because my Ship 1 character has 431,000 Meseta to her name, and she is really broke. So I do not have a relic weapon, I do not have any OP gear on this character, and thus the Tempesta weapon is actually a very viable choice. The reason for that is simply because you can pick up the weapon for free from Shandy right here. So when you talk to her, you simply go to exchange seasonal points, and you can get a Tempesta weapon which is already enhanced to plus 25, which is going to save you a lot of Meseta, since you only need to get it to plus 40 in order to unlock the 4th slot. However, there is more to this, and that is the actual augments. You can get a lot of very powerful augments through the event shop, which work very well with the Tempesta weapons. The first augment I highly recommend is going to be Wind Exploit 1, which gives you potency plus 2.5% against enemies weak to wind. Well, it just so happens like 90% of all the enemies are weak to wind right now because of this seasonal event, so I highly recommend picking up a couple of these. Keep in mind that the Wind Exploit capsule works on both weapons and armors. So technically you can put this on all 3 pieces of your armor plus your weapon and gain 10% more potency against enemies weak to wind, which is very powerful, especially if you're on a budget like my ship 1 character. The next capsule I highly recommend is going to be Might 3, Precision 3, or Technique 3, depending on what weapon type you're using. So in my case, since I am using a melee weapon, I want to increase my melee potency, so I will be using Might 3. However, if you use a ranged weapon, then obviously you want to use Precision 3, and if you use techniques, then you need to get Technique 3, alright? And last but not least is going to be, of course, Zidal Soul, Pedestal, and Neck Soul. These are very powerful augments as well. It gives you plus 5 PP as well as weapon potency. And the main reason why these capsules are so powerful is because of the weapon potency. Look, you've got 2% just from picking up Zidal Soul 2. Then we're going to scroll up over here. At Might 3, we get another 2%, so that's 4%. And at Wind Exploit, you get another 2.5%. So that is 6.5% potency that you can get on your weapon very cheaply, because you literally just exchange your seasonal points, which you just farm for by killing seasonal enemies. So all of these are free. However, as we know, when we get a weapon to plus 40, you get 4 augment slots. So we just covered 3 of them. So what should the last one be? I highly recommend going Alt Secreta 3 simply because it gives another 2% potency as well as 2% potency floor increase. However, this will make you a little bit glass cannon, so do keep that in mind. And another reason why I highly recommend Alt Secreta 3 is because while you are farming in those combat zones, you will obtain a lot of Alt Secretas 1s and 2s. Now occasionally you may get the 3, and of course you can always buy them on the market, and the prices of these are going to be dropping significantly as more and more people are farming. However, did you know you can change your Alt Secreta 2s into Alt Secreta 3s simply by coming to the Item Lab enhancement over here, talk to this person, click on Exchange Augment Capsule, scroll to the very bottom, and boom, right here, Alt Secreta 3. What it's going to do, it will consume 10 Alt Secreta 2 capsules, 10 Photon Quartz, as well as 10 Tetracite in order to make 1 Alt Secreta 3. However, since you're going to be farming combat zones all the time to gain those seasonal points, you will gain a lot of Alt Secreta 2, so you can turn those into 3s and use that on your weapons and armors. Again, it will make you a little bit glass cannon, however, you'll be dealing significantly more damage. So to recap the augments, I highly recommend Wind Exploit, either Might, Precision, or Technique depending on what type of damage you deal, as well as Didal, Pedis, and Neck Soul depending on what damage you deal, and finally Alt Secreta 3 on your weapon. However, I want to stress that this is just my personal recommendation, so you don't have to listen to me. If you prefer to play a more tanky class or more beefy class, by all means you can switch around the augments. Again, this is just my recommendation. So now some of you guys may be wondering, Kero, those augments aren't that expensive, and there's a good reason for that. The reason is because Tempesta weapons are an elemental weapon. So if we look over here on page 2, you're going to notice that the damage adjustment is 70% to 100%, while compared to like a Gregia weapon, it is 75% to 100%. The reason why this one's 76.1 is because, of course, I have Alt Secreta 2 on it, which is why this percentage is a little bit messed up. However, the point that I want to make over here is that the Tempesta weapons is an elemental weapon which deals wind damage. It excels against enemies which are weak to wind. However, in February we will be getting the Dark Falls Urgent Quest. We are also getting a level cap increase to level 40. When this happens, the probability is extremely high that we are going to get new gear. But another thing to also keep note of is Dark Falls is not going to be weak to wind damage, at least I don't think so. It's going to be weak to light damage or dark damage, most likely light damage. And if that is the case, you don't want to heavily invest into your Tempesta weapon, because if you heavily invest into the augments and you get like state of the art, the best of the best augments onto your Tempesta weapon, when the seasonal event ends and that urgent quest comes out, you're going to realize that your Tempesta weapon doesn't deal that much damage against enemies which are not weak to wind. And that is the biggest issue here, which is why I'm warning everyone, do not heavily invest into your Tempesta weapons. Your Tempesta weapons are a good stepping stone, which you can use right now and slaughter everything. However, at the end of the day, after this event goes away, you will revert back to your Gregia weapons. So you don't want to invest too much into the Tempesta weapons. If you're planning to invest a lot of money, then I would recommend investing into the Gregia weapons, especially one with a Fixa. If you could get like a Fixa 2 or Fixa 3 attack or Fatale, that would be really powerful, and the Gregia weapons will give you more bang for your buck simply because it is not an elemental weapon, it has a higher damage adjustment, and you can multi-weapon it with whatever weapon because there are more weapon choices. So in conclusion, are the Tempesta weapons worth it? If you are a low budget player, you just started out the game and you don't have a Gregia weapon yet, then yes, they are a very solid choice. However, treat them as a stepping stone. Do not heavily invest into these weapons unless you are a min-maxer or a speedrunner. Then by all means, invest as much as you want into it because you are using it in order to speedrun, in order to optimize things and min-max. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the